Okay, Brent.
Okay, Josh.
This is Speak Now or Whatever. This is our interview with singer-songwriter Chris Staples, former member of 238, former member of Discover America, author of projects such as American Soft, Golden Age, and Cloud Souvenirs. And his most recent project is his upcoming album called Don't Worry.
Yeah, and Chris just released a single called Doesn't Matter Now. Let's take a quick listen at that.
Cigarette, lemon heads, cassettes, a shame about Ray. The sun is coming up. I had so much on my mind and so much underneath. I could use a little time.
So this interview is really special for us, I think, in a lot of ways,
Very
because we have grown up to appreciate so much of Chris's writings with his previous bands. Our proximity to where he grew up and the friends that he had and the bands that he was in, always played Birmingham, being a part of Fort Walton Beach. You hear a little bit of that in our interview with him.
Absolutely. And, we haven't had an episode come out since the last one, which was in April with Moments in Grace.
Right.
What's great about that, though, is the connections between Jeremy Griffith, Moments in Grace, Jake from 238, and getting to connect with Chris about that scene during that period of time. And we're talking about a period that a lot of the stuff that we talk about in this episode is based around like 1997 through 2002. Like this very specific time that existed here in Birmingham, but also like what we talk about with Chris is the kind of thing that was happening in Florida as well. And in this particular scene, and seeing all these bands come out, his band come out, and the influence they had on this scene and our connection with Chad from Slacker 66 and Furnace Fest. It was so special to talk to him about what that time meant to him. And how he saw that and how his band formed. And now, even now, as a songwriter, how he continues to make music and the community that's evolved around that. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, this is so great. Such a treat for both of us. Yeah, we hope to have Chris come through sometime soon.
Absolutely.
And play. We'd love to have him actually play a live set.
I would love that.
On our podcast.
Please.
Yeah, so we'll work through him. We'll continue to chat with him and figure out a time for that.
I hope so. One thing that I didn't ask you before, but when was the first time you saw 238?
Oh, boy. 238 had to have been 2001 Furnace Fest.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember seeing them also at the Take Hold Fest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Furnace Fest was it.
That was the one.
That was like the memory that I have where it clicked in my head. I had some friends of mine growing up that worked at CD Warehouse in Homewood. Their dad worked there.
Yes.
And Chad was working upstairs and sold a lot of Take Hold stuff. Up in that loft area, which we can verify with Chad if we need to.
I'll find out.
But they were the ones who turned me on to a lot of this stuff. And 238 was, Take Hold Records was very eclectic in its music. You had so many different bands like Not Waving But Drowning, Narcissus, and, even The Operation, which became Me Without You.
Early Under Oath.
Yeah, Under Oath, yeah. And then you had, 238 was a part of that.
Right.
And for us, it was very important. You got tied into a record label. You started listening to a lot of those bands. That's kind of just how it was.
Anything that they put out, you listen to.
Yeah.
It's similar with Fat Records or, any of those kind of labels.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that was really cool to talk to Chris about that, about just the scene, the community that evolved around that whole thing.
Absolutely.
Evolved around Slacker 66, but also just in general, the independent scene.
Right. Yeah.
You know, from what's happening in Florida, what's happening in Birmingham, and how there were so many connections and relationships made, you know, even through that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
That was really cool. I saw them at the, my first time was at one of those Take Old Fests.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely the first time I saw them. I already knew about them. Everybody around me was talking about 238, and that was definitely the first time I ever saw them.
Yeah.
There. But the cool thing was also talking to Chris about his process as a songwriter and how he's evolved in, you know, being a solo artist, because he's continuing to create and put out records, you know, whether he's doing it like all himself or whether he's enlisting some friends, whether he's building a studio in his backyard, he's doing this himself now.
Yep.
And continuing to put out the kind of records he wants to make and exploring new sounds.
Absolutely. And as any good musician, you change. You change over the years.
Right.
And I think we kind of talk about that. And if anyone knows, going back, listening to 238, Discover America, and then Chris's solo stuff, you hear the differences.
Yes.
You hear the changes, and that's just inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as humans, as we continue to grow, we also change.
Yeah.
And so as a musician, it just makes sense.
100%. So I encourage everyone to listen to this episode. Hear us talk to Chris about, again, Florida, Birmingham, his life now, what he has in store for the future. I encourage you to go back and listen to all of our previous episodes, especially with Moments in Grace,
Absolutely.
with all these different connections. Our previous episodes with Karina Denike, Milo Ackerman, and these types of episodes that we love to have. We love to have these conversations with people.
Yeah.
And get to explore a little bit more of who they are and why it is that they do what they do.
Yep. Yeah.
So this is our interview with Chris Staples.
Sorry, I'm a little bit late.
That's
You're
all right.
fine.
Thanks for joining with us, man. I mean, we're super excited to have you. Long
Awesome.
time fans. So
This has been a long time coming. So
It has, man. And we can't thank you enough for dealing with all of our constant messages.
yeah.
it's all good. It's all good. So you guys really sticking with it. I saw that. I listened to the Jonathan Ford episode that
Yes.
you guys did. It was cool. I mean, I know Jonathan, but I didn't hear a lot of those stories before, so that was cool to kind of hear his story. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We didn't even have Jonathan bring up the time that Jeff Betker sliced his arm open on stage and almost had to go to the hospital because he almost bled out on stage.
Crazy, yeah. That's so insane. Was that the Raft of Dead Monkeys band that they did or whatever? Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Well, that was
Crazy.
exciting too. I mean, just getting to hear from not just Jonathan, but Jeff, because Jeff was our second interview that we did.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he just unloaded all these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, everything.
Yeah. I think I remember the first time I encountered him was it actually in Alabama. I went and saw MXPX in Dothan, Alabama,
Okay.
What?
and 90 Pound Wuss was opening. And I hadn't heard of them before. And it was
Right.
like in a basketball gym or something.
Oh, no kidding.
He was just like memorable looking. His hair was like it was like parts of it were shaved, but other parts were long, and it was just like sticking out everywhere. And yeah,
That sounds like something he would do.
yeah,
Exactly like that.
That's wild.
yeah.
Cool.
Again, man, like thanks so much for being on here. I know it's been a long time coming. Like I think you were probably one of the first 5 names that we dropped into a hat when we were like,
Yeah.
who are we going to have, on
Yeah.
the podcast? So
Oh, that's such an honor. Sorry it took so long. Sometimes when I'm in the mode of like doing this type of thing with a record coming out, I'm doing a lot of this. But
Oh, yeah.
when I'm not like in that mode, I'm like just doing other stuff or whatever. So I think it's probably better to do it. I think we picked a good time to finally do it. So
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much again for being a part of it. So
Yeah.
we appreciate that.
So where are we talking to you from right now? Where are you at?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia, where
Yes. Yes.
I moved here in 2019, kind of right before the pandemic, and yeah, so I've been here since then, and moving to Nashville pretty soon, like in a couple weeks.
Oh,
Nice.
crazy.
I'm kind of wrapping up my time here, so
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
That's great. You have something looking forward to and in Nashville?
yeah. So my partner got a job there, and like I grew up in the South. I grew up in Florida, so
Right.
like so many people in music that I know from all the way back to the old days. You know, a lot of
Mhm.
people have slowly kind of migrated there and stuff, and then just kind of people I've met in music like more recently, like songwriters and stuff. It's just going to be like a cool kind of a collaborative kind of. I mean, you guys know about Nashville, of course, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, excited to kind of I don't know, just like write with people and record with people and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
That's
excited.
terrific, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard our episode with Moments in Grace.
Oh, I haven't, but I love Jeremy so
I
much.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Produced Cloud Souvenirs, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jeremy and I met I don't know if he told you, but we met in middle school. I don't want to rehash the same story, but
No, no,
yeah,
no.
we met in middle school shop class, and he was like really terrible at woodworking. So he paid me $20, and I made a birdhouse for him. He gave it to his mom, and then like it was literally like 15 years later, I was like at his mom's house and I saw it. Like he gave it to her as a gift. So
He did
but
not tell us this,
No,
so
he did
I'm
not.
so happy you're bringing this up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
um
you guys all grew up in Fort Walton area, is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
Fort Walton, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Kind of have you guys been there before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the
Yeah.
things we connected with Jeremy. We talked to Jeremy and Jake from Moments in Grace, and that's one of the things we talked about was we'll get into that in just a little bit, but like the connection between Birmingham, Fort Walton, like Florida and Birmingham, like just this constant connection between bands and scenes. Our band played in Fort Walton many times and in Pensacola long time ago, and so we connected with like the place that you would play at in Fort Walton, the Java Pit, and all that kind of stuff, which I'm sure you're way familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so crazy. Yeah. I try to explain to people like where I'm from in Florida is like it's more like Alabama than like,
Mhm.
like
Right.
Disney World or South Florida or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think ever first like kind of when we were first trying to get out of town, it was like
Yeah.
Birmingham was one of the first places because it's, pretty close and lots of music happening and stuff and clubs and everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of an early first time like we left town. Really, we played Birmingham. So and Montgomery too, but
Oh, sure.
Birmingham obviously way better. Yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
238, your first record, did you record in Heart Cell?
Um, I want to say, it was in like I want to say we recorded in like maybe Florence or wait, or maybe it was like Enterprise.
Okay.
I'm kind of hazy on it to be honest with
Yeah.
you,
One of
Yeah.
those
but
one of those towns in Alabama.
yeah, it wasn't in Birmingham. It was kind of like in a smaller place, but
Right.
yeah, it was with this guy Frank Heath. I don't know if you guys know him or like I've tried to like find him just out of curiosity, and I haven't been able to like locate him. But yeah, he had like he worked in like a little like it was like the guy who owned this little studio. It was like a metal like hair metal type studio. It had a hair metal vibe, but he was into hardcore and stuff, and he made records in this little space. And yeah, we went there, and Brett Detter from Juliana Theory
Yes.
came and was like producing it. So
Yeah.
it was kind of I think it was like fun for him because he hadn't produced much at that time. And yeah, it was a good time. Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
didn't know what we were doing at all, but
Yeah, you just learn as you go, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
at the
For
end of the
sure.
day. Well,
Yeah.
and let me bring this up because I'm very curious about this. You built your own studio. Do you still have that in Richmond? Is that the studio you built right in, like it literally in your backyard in Richmond?
Yeah. So when I moved here, we moved into like a little house, and it's a rental house, and we didn't have I didn't have a place to record. And my partner, she was in school, so I couldn't like make music in the house really without disturbing her. So
Yeah.
I built like a shed in our backyard. It was like 10 feet wide by like 16 feet long, and ran electrical to it and everything. And it's like just big enough to make music in. Um, but yeah, I just sold it, and some people came and took it like 2 days ago.
Nice.
So very recently left my life. But yeah, it was a great spot to work in. I launched a Patreon, so I made a lot of videos in there, and like
Mhm.
wrote a lot of stuff, and made my last record in there, which was a little challenging because it was really tight. But yeah,
So
yeah.
Cloud Souvenirs, you did that in that studio?
That was with Jeremy, but my new record is not out yet, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's called Don't Worry. I made that in the studio
Oh,
in the
cool.
shed.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was cool. I'm kind of used to making records in like weird, like kind of impromptu spaces, so it felt
Hmm.
kind of normal for me.
I love
So
that.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure it just feels good. I mean, to be able to literally go into your backyard in the studio that you built and just record and change and improv and, make what you want.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's cool, like in the morning to go out there and work, and then come back and have dinner or whatever, and then go back out there late at night, or just like, I don't know, just like have access to it, like pretty much anytime you feel like working on stuff. And yeah, like, and just like having stuff really close to me, it's like all my guitars are right here, and my bass is right here, and
Yes.
just you don't have to go very far to kind of record. It's the kind of the perfect space for somebody making their record by themselves. So
Was it
Absolutely.
was it kind of
yeah,
bittersweet to see it go?
yeah, it was kind of sad because I put a lot of work into it. Like my plan was to like move it into the woods and like make a cabin out of it one day or
Oh,
something.
I
But
love that.
but like trucking it to Nashville would have been like really expensive. So I was like, well, I guess this is time to say goodbye. But yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Don't lose hope. There's woods
yeah.
in Nashville, so
That's true. Maybe I can get it back from my friend that I sold it to.
there's places, there's Gatlinburg, there's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sevierville, all those kind of places in Tennessee
that's true.
for sure.
There's lots of woods there for sure.
So when you go to Tennessee, I mean, is that your goal too, though, is to kind of like have your own spot where you can, or to have your own space, whether it's in your house or outside your house, to do that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna try to find. We're trying to buy a house, and we're looking for something. We haven't found anything yet, but maybe like a basement space or something like that to write and record in. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and I know there's like so many like small studios, other house studios to work out of too. So it'd be fun to kind of make some stuff out of the house as well. So yeah, I
Can't
mean
wait.
Nashville is such a crazy place. It's like there's obviously the big country stuff, and there's the big Christian stuff,
Yeah.
and then there's all the live kind of people gigging on you know Broadway or whatever, and then there's just so many other people producing hip hop or folk or whatever. It's like
Mhm.
there's just so many people on the fringes making other types of music too. So
For sure.
excited to kind of write with people. And yeah, I mean there's just so many great players,
Yeah. Yeah.
all over basically.
Kind of
Yeah.
endless over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm assuming getting back with Jeremy as well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's
There
such a
you
great
go.
guy. So,
Absolutely. He's a primary bro.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised to learn that you had been in a band with him so long ago. That was news to me. But I mean, I know that he's had his hands in so many different things, and
yeah. Yeah. He's worked on so much stuff. And I think I mean, he was in Moments in Grace and
yeah,
made those records. and stuff. But as a producer and an engineer, he's kind of like servicing and kind of like giving his talents or like lending himself to other people's projects. So
Yeah.
he just worked on so many things, and he can kind of like, he has a crazy, like, I call it like a musical vocabulary, because I have a musical vocabulary that's like very limited,
Hmm.
but he has a musical vocabulary that it's like very broad. He can play like multiple instruments very well and be like really tasteful and minimal, and he can also be like do crazy stuff.
Mm.
And like when we were working together on the Cloud Souvenirs record, I would lay down, like a guitar track and maybe some drums or something, and he would kind of be adding some melodic elements, and he would say, "How about this?" And write a part. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." And then he'd be like, "Well, how about this?" And like, so he would like write like 10 parts in front of me in the space of like a minute and a half.
Whoa.
Oh.
And I would be like, I'd be like, "God damn you, bro!" Like, just like,
Thanks a
like,
lot, Jeremy.
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it's just maybe all the playing I mean, actually, I was gonna say it's from his experience, but thinking back on it, it's like he was like that in middle school and high school too.
For real?
Like he was just super fluent. There's like no separation from his like brain and his hands. Like he can just hear something and just
Wow.
yeah, pretty inspiring actually.
Yeah.
So
He told us one thing he said to us was he's enchanted with sound. Like he's always been enchanted with sound. Like just
Yeah.
figuring out how to get a sound out.
yeah,
Sounds like him, right?
that's him for sure. Absolutely.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
this album that's coming out soon, let's go ahead and get into this on August 5th, right? This is Don't Worry.
Mhm.
This is the one that you said that you recorded yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
The singles sound fantastic. Like
Oh,
the
thanks.
stuff
Yeah,
you've already
they're great.
released are fantastic. And it sounds really stripped down. Not knowing the rest of this record was your goal going into it, like to make something very stripped down?
I don't think so. I think it's just kind of how it worked out, and I think during mixing, there was some of the songs on the record had like a lot of extra tracks, and it was hard to. I don't know. It just sounded better to me when I was like pulling stuff out. So, um, I don't know. I guess I like a lot of records that have minimal, aesthetic
Yeah.
to them. So, it's just kind of how it worked out. But yeah, the two singles that have come out are pretty minimal. And I think there's some of the other tracks have like are more filled out, but
Right.
yeah, I'd say overall, yeah, pretty minimal.
Yeah, and I'm going off of, doesn't matter now and that type of feel, which is it sounds like you, but it sounds, stripped down, but also you can hear, your progression I can hear your progression from album to album anyway of like what you're trying to accomplish. And this definitely, it's really, really beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I had some kind of great people kind of like playing on like select tracks,
Mhm.
just like bringing in other people to kind of play on stuff. That doesn't matter now. This guy, Alan Parker, played guitar, lead guitar and stuff on that. And he's played with a lot of people. He's on tour with Lucy Dacus right now.
Cool.
And he plays, yeah, just so many, he plays on a lot of sessions and stuff. And then, yeah, Kyle Crane played drums on a lot of the record, and he's just like he's a crazy drummer. He plays with Madison Cunningham and Daniel Lanois and the Shins, and
That's
Whoa.
Daniel Lanois.
yeah,
Wow.
and he plays with it's just like a really long list of people, and he was in that movie Whiplash. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
ever saw that movie Whiplash.
Where was he in Whiplash?
He is the drum double. So like in the recital from the overhead
Yes.
shot, Kyle playing on that.
That's awesome.
That guy's on your record.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
It's kind of weird. Like his sister lives in Richmond, and so he comes here to visit her, and he just like messaged me out of the blue and was like, yeah, I'm coming to visit my sister, and I could like show up at your house at like 7 every morning and just play drums all day, and then I have to go hang out with her. And he's like, yeah, last year I didn't have a day off. I played drums every single day. And he's like a crazy, I mean, he's a great drummer, but he works so hard. And he'll be like at a festival with Madison Cunningham, and one of the other artists he'll be playing with is there, and he's trying to get both gigs.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, dude, that's wild. But yeah, like
That's some
Jeez.
serious overworking.
No kidding.
but he told me I can tell you the Whiplash story. It's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a great, I don't care that it's not about me. I just think it's cool. But he was like, he lives in LA, and he had heard that there was this jazz movie and they're like looking for a drum double. And so he got in contact with like one of the people that works, one of the production people,
Hmm.
the movie. And so he knew they were going to be coming to like his restaurant gig. Um, but he didn't know what time they were coming. So he told all the guys he was playing with, he's like, at some point tonight, these people from this movie are coming. We don't know what time they're coming. So we have to play fast bebop like all night long. Because when they come in, I want them to see us like that we know that I know how to do it.
Yeah.
So like it was in a restaurant, and it was like the whole night they're just like just playing.
That's
But
tough, man.
he got the movie, and then he said he was like in wardrobe and like makeup and stuff for like 21 days straight,
Oh.
just in case they needed him, but he didn't actually do anything for like the whole time. It was kind of crazy, but yeah, he's wild guy. But he played on a good bit of the record.
Oh,
So
cool.
That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Do
That's
you
cool.
have was this in the studio in your backyard? Like he
Mhm.
could set up your drums, like he could set up his drums there?
Yeah, he just came and played on my kit that I had set up and
Oh, cool.
stuff. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, man, I hope this is a workable space for you. And he was like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's fine. I was like,
Of
okay.
course. Do you know because I know you have an affinity for Not a Surf and affinity for Lemonheads, but regarding not like when I was thinking about your music and I was thinking about, you recording yourself and everything and then setting up your own studio like you did. I was thinking about John Vanderslice. Are you real familiar with John Vanderslice?
Yeah, I know his music, and I've met him before, but I don't know him very well.
Yeah,
But
he
yeah.
did the exact same thing that you did. I mean, he
Oh,
has his own studio in San Francisco or something like that, like called Tiny Telephone, that Death
yeah.
Cab is recorded at and all this stuff. But he did the exact same thing you did, which is he built a small studio in his backyard that he could just go into and record his own music whenever he wanted to.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
cool.
and he's a singer-songwriter. He just likes to make his own music and make his own sounds. And so that's like where he goes to be creative and do that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so cool. I always think about like going into the studio, with my old bands or whatever. Not that going into a studio is a bad thing.
No, no, no.
But like I just remember going into a studio and being kind of like stressed out a little bit and being like, I don't feel like I belong here, and it's expensive, and you're like looking at the time kind of,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like going in your backyard is more like, I think of more like an oil painter. Like they wake up in the morning and they have coffee and they just like sit at their easel or whatever. There's
Right.
not like
Yeah.
Right.
there's
Yeah.
not like another person kind of helping them kind
True.
of put the ink on the canvas or whatever.
Yeah, David McCullough actually does that as well. He has a cabin, like
Yeah.
a small little shed, famous historian, writer,
Mhm.
he does that same thing. He just has a little shed out back and
So
that's where he
cool.
stays and does his thing. I mean, I kind of want to do that now. I kind of want to build a shed just so I can get some creativeness out, play some drums.
You're capable of that. You're
Yeah.
capable of building the shed.
Seems
I
the way to
think
go.
there's a good like there's a great like Stephen King book called On Writing where he just
I
talks
have
about
it. Yes.
oh,
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. He talks about his studio in there, and it's like I can't remember if it's connected to his house or if it's like a little,
Yeah.
maybe it's in his basement. I don't know. But anyway, he said there's no phone in there, there's no
No.
electronics, and
Yeah.
he's in there every day for at least, I think he said he goes in there for at least 2 hours, at the
Totally.
minimum, kind of every day.
Mhm.
But
Oh
like if
man.
he gets inspired, then he just keeps going. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
he put forth that idea in that book of just showing up. Literally
Yeah.
showing up at the desk, knowing why that desk is there with a blank
Yeah.
piece of paper and going.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of makes sense that he has like so many books because he's just doing it every day,
Yeah.
probably every day of the year.
And he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
He said this. He has said this many times. He's like, I don't need the money. I don't have to do this. I mean, how many things of his are still being made into TV series and movies right now? I mean,
Yeah.
the list is endless, but he's like, that creative impulse is still there.
Yeah. Yeah, the books and then the screenplays or what stuff that's made into TV or film or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he could obviously he just like loves doing it so much, It's like
Mhm.
yeah.
He just shows
Yeah.
up, man. Shows up at the
Yeah.
desk and does it. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think that's good to have because it's very isolation where you're not distracted. There's so many things that are just constantly distracting us.
yes.
I think being bored is where creativity really thrives.
Mhm.
When you can actually calm yourself down from everything around you and kind of focus and really think. I don't know if that's kind of the process you've gone through in the past with writing, but that seems to be a trend.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, definitely the being bored bit is like pretty important. I feel like I really resonated with that when I was a kid because like we didn't have like television in my house for some reason. I don't know why. I always hated that we didn't.
Mm.
But you get bored and you just kind of you're not consuming anything, so you kind of are making media in a way. You're just kind of making something to fill the space or something.
Mhm.
It's definitely harder to get that for me these days, just with my responsibilities and just the internet or whatever. It's like harder to, like you're saying, be bored, but it is like fertile ground for creation when you can get bored.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, to build off of that, because it's an excellent point, it's something that we wanted to talk to you about is the discipline of songwriting, the discipline of, crafting something out of nothing. If we're talking about Stephen King, we're talking about showing up at that desk. Is that something that you do every day? Or is it something that you have to like carve out a specific amount of time for?
I really wish that I was the kind of person that was writing like every day because I know that there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I'm in my writing phase, which can last, like when I was writing for this new record, Don't Worry, I was writing a lot for maybe like 2 years, and it was like pretty regular, just like every day I would write a little bit until I had this record done. But now I'm kind of moved on to like some other projects and things, and yeah, I don't write every day. I wish I could, but I mean, I'm always working on whether it's like I have like a little label. This is my little label. I call it a label, but I've put out my own records and stuff,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I do like have to design releases and manufacture stuff, and I run a web store and stuff. So I'm always kind of working on music related things, but sometimes it's not actually writing. But yeah, but I do stay pretty focused. I work a lot with music stuff. I came up in construction. That's where I started like framing houses when I was like 14 and just like worked in construction until I was in my 30s pretty much when I stopped doing that. And I've kind of applied that to like, my music path, it's like
Sure.
people are like, "Oh, you work so hard at music." And I'm like, it doesn't feel like that hard compared to my old life a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like
It just feels
it's
like
not as hard.
feels normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's definitely like a work ethic that I think I took from that. So
Construction is tough. I come from a family of welders and roofers. I mean, that's some tough work. So yeah, it'll teach you some stuff. That's for sure.
did you do some of that growing up and stuff?
A little bit. Yeah. My dad was a welder for about 40 years. And so we had a shop out like beside where I grew up.
Mhm.
So like him and my
Yeah.
grandfather had their own business. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
It's good.
he taught me everything about mechanics and all that other good stuff.
Sure.
So I can fix anything, but
Yeah.
the creativity of creating things is somewhat foreign to me. So
Yeah, well, that stuff's good. It's good to know how to, be mechanical and be able to fix things,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I think we should get into this now, Chris. I want to talk about Birmingham and about
Okay.
your connection with Birmingham. I think all of us, me, Brent, and all of our friends,
All of them.
came to know you and came to know, your music here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Your connection with, 238, Take Hold, Chad, who we've talked to on this podcast, and we might do it again pretty soon as well. But for you personally, that experience, because we know a little bit about, the Florida scene and about
Mhm.
the same kind of thing that was happening in Florida, the same thing that was happening here in Birmingham. But can you talk a little bit about that experience of, getting connected here, Take Hold, Birmingham, what was happening in Florida, that whole experience? Because I feel like it was a very special time because we were always learning about new bands. Like
Yeah.
we were always coming to a show and learning about 3 new bands that we had never heard of. And,
Yeah.
yours being one of them, way back then. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you could talk about that just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, maybe similar to you guys, like when I was in just out of high school, it was like there wasn't the internet, so the only way you'd know about music was either like MTV and that kind of thing. Like, because there was like that 90s music, like big 90s music thing, and I just felt so foreign to me, or it
Right.
didn't feel like my music at all, Like I was into like emo rock and like
Yeah. Yeah.
what post rock or whatever you want to call it, like that kind of stuff. So it was like the way I found music was through like zines and stuff like
Yes.
that. It's like weird little, I guess, shows that I went to. But one of my friends was on tour and they came back from Birmingham. They had a Slacker 66
Right on.
zine and it had the Vulcan on the front of it. I remember it was like the back of the Vulcan, so it was like the Vulcan's ass. And it says Slacker 66. And I was like, what is this? And there's just like articles, like interviews with bands and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's a label. And so I sent a cassette tape, our demo, to the address. And I didn't think I'd hear back. And a couple of weeks later, Chad like called me or like maybe he sent me a letter. I can't remember. But like um I had a phone call set up with Chad and I was supposed to call him, but my sister was on the phone, so I had to run to the gas station and I called him from a payphone
That's
and
awesome.
talked to him. It was like a 5-minute phone call. He was like, "Oh, you should like put out a record." Like that's how quickly he was like, you guys should record something
Wow.
for my label." And I was like, "Cool, sure," And like I think it was exciting for us because we wanted to kind of like get out of our town a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
and like I don't know, it was like a label wanted to work with us. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think we just like would come up and Chad would invite us to come up and play some shows. Like he had I don't know if you guys remember this, but he had like a warehouse space
Of
for a little
course.
while.
Of
Okay,
course.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. But we came up and we played with some Birmingham bands, and I think we opened for At the Drive-In there one time,
Man.
Yeah.
and we opened for Jimmy Eat World. That might have been the same show. I can't remember, but
Mm-hmm.
came up and played some shows, and then yeah, we were just coming up there a lot for a while, and
Yeah.
um, Chad went on vacation one time, and I ran the label for him for like a week. I mean,
For
run the
real?
label. I just took like packages to the post office and stuff.
You answered the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. But like but there was this Living Sacrifice show at that space
Yeah. Yeah.
and Chad was out of town and I was like in charge and I'm like I was like a skinny like little kid. I shouldn't have been in charge of that. But it was really hot and sweaty and this kid passed out at the Living Sacrifice show, and this mother who like some kid's mother who was there was like,
Mm-hmm.
"You have to call the ambulance and stuff," and I was like, I don't know. He's I think he's okay, you know. And then finally I was like, yeah, I called the ambulance, and the ambulance came and the firemen came, and they were like, what the hell is this?
What is this place?
Yeah. They were like, what the hell is this? And we were just like, I don't know, it's just shows or something. And then I think they got shut down, like that space got shut down like not long after that. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah,
Sure.
The way it went down.
I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to go back to the emails and see who blamed who
We'll
for
talk
that.
to Chad about this later.
I mean, I'll take that. It's
You'll
my
take
fault.
it. I'm pretty sure I was at that show. I'm pretty sure I was at the Living Sacrifice show. Yeah, I know I saw them at the space you're talking about. So
Yeah, I bet that was it. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the last ones. Yeah.
but that time, I mean, specifically, it was so interesting because we saw all of this bubble over here in Birmingham, which I'm sure you saw this happening in Florida as well. But here specifically, we went from going to Chad's shop, which used to be Slacker 66, used to be on the second story of this like random building in Homewood, Alabama, where he just sold merch and CDs and skateboard decks, to going to the venue I think you're talking about, and then having a label birthed out of that, and then doing Take Hold Fests in Shades Valley Community Church, which was where I know for a fact I saw your band play at. I'm sure you did too. Oh, yeah. And just seeing all of that, kind of bubble over during that time it felt really special, during that time as well.
Yeah, like I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot those Take Hold Fests at the church.
At the church,
yeah. I think I must have been to at least two of those, maybe three.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like that's almost kind of like a precursor to like Furnace Fest or something.
It was for sure.
Yeah, those are really fun. Yeah, like kind of like a similar thing in our town. Maybe not to the same scale, but like 238, we would play shows and people were showing up. And I know you mentioned the Java Pit, like this guy Rob, who owned this little coffee shop. He was like, I guess where we were located in Florida, there was people that were coming from Dallas and New Orleans, and they were passing through, going to like Jacksonville or Orlando or something. And so he was getting like crazy bands playing in Fort Walton at this little coffee shop, like Alkaline Trio.
Man,
I saw Dismemberment playing there.
Wow,
it was a great show. So many people played there. I saw Drive By Truckers there one time.
Oh,
that was
crazy,
cool. Yeah. But yeah, like when 238 would play shows at this little chapel, like we would get like 400 people, which I don't know, it seemed kind of like a lot. Like I don't like our little town didn't really have a history of like having any type of, DIY music scene or whatever. And I don't know that it's really had one since in a similar way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was exciting. And it was an exciting time for us just to kind of see and hear music and be surrounded by music that you were like really into, like youth music or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if you feel that way, but like,
oh, definitely.
Yeah. I mean,
like I watched that, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like you said, like the Panhandle is pretty much just like a part of, it's associated with Alabama and, so many different ways. And, it was great to have, I guess, I-10 come through there because most of the shows probably went to Pensacola, I would assume, right? So
Yeah, that was the place for sure.
Yeah.
They had like more proper kind of clubs, like rock clubs than we had in Fort Walton. So yeah, a lot of great. We would go over there for shows like all the time. Mm-hmm. It's always been like kind of a cool place compared to Fort Walton. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, I did that.
No.
It's all this Birmingham, Florida stuff. We're riding that train.
Yeah. Birmingham's a cool place. I had a lot of good times there and stuff. Yeah.
Well, you have to come back because Josh Williams is who we do all of our podcasts here at Workplay, and it's downtown Birmingham. And Josh and Johnny Grimes, they both own this place, and so they were like, "Tell Chris he's got to come in when he does his tour. He's got to come through here and play sometime when he does his solo stuff." So you're going to have to put Birmingham on the list, especially when you move to Nashville. So
right on. Yeah, I'm gonna be just right up the street. Yeah,
you'll
for
be
sure.
Right down the street, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, did you guys play in a band together?
No, we do now.
Not at that time.
No, not at that time. Brent is 7 years younger than me, 6 or 7 years younger than me. And so during that time, I was in the time we're talking about, I was in 2 different bands. And one of them played down in Fort Walton at the Java Pit.
What band was it?
Lasting Value.
Sounds familiar.
No, it doesn't, Chris. Come on.
I think I've heard it. Yeah, I think I've heard the name.
Chad would know. Chad also knows the ska band that I was in because we played at Slacker 66 multiple times.
What's the ska band?
It was called The Suits. We were 17 when we were in that band.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we played at that same church. We played at Shades Valley multiple times, not at a Take Old Fest, but different shows, you know. And me and several people around here in Birmingham were in different bands. We all played together there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, why is it that Birmingham, like, where are the big hardcore scenes in America? Like, what? Like, I think people are always surprised, like, maybe even still. That like, that you're like, yeah, Birmingham had like a really explosive, energetic hardcore scene. And people are like, what?
Yeah, and that still continues to this day. It's kind of crazy because there's a hardcore band called Haywire that just is exploding right now, and they just played at a local brewery like down the street, and it was just kind of this random. I mean, there's no AC in this building, like it was just super DIY, and I don't know. I think it's just because we're so poor. Everybody still just does this DIY thing. You know?
Yeah.
But no, it still continues. There's still that spirit, and I think that's one thing that we wanted to do with this podcast is to help bring about the story of particularly Birmingham, but this area, Southeast, you know, musicians and people who have paved the way for us. And, you know, I think you and your music has also done that for most of us. I don't know very many people who grew up in this scene that doesn't know your name.
Right.
Know? So
So
I think it's great. I think it's good to continue to see that, but we want to make sure that those stories are being told. So
it's good to like stuff that didn't exist before the internet. It just like if you don't write it down or talk about it, it just kind of
it's true.
It goes away or something. Or I'm trying to think. There was a guy from Birmingham. He was in kind of this like alternative rock band, but then he went on to have like a solo career. And
was it Matthew Mayfield?
No, but he's great too. Damn it. I'll think of it in a minute. I'll bring it up.
I'm sure we know him. Whoever you're talking about, I'm sure we know him.
Yeah.
Probably hung out with him.
Yeah. I'll think of him in a bit.
Yeah, because there's been several guys that have been a part of bands here, and then they go on to do other things, and then they just don't even look back. And I get it. You know?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm looking it up.
You're trying, like you're searching it up. That's what I thought. I'm like, you're searching this up right now.
Did he do
I'm killing the podcast right now.
Oh, it's fine. Did he do like solo stuff? Like is his
AA Bondi?
AA Bondi.
Oh,
That's who I was looking at. Yeah. AA Bondi. What was the band that he was in? It was
Was he in Verbena?
Verbena.
It was Verbena?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah. I've seen them. I saw them play here like a long time ago when I was a teenager.
Yeah. I became a fan of his solo stuff, and I didn't even know about Verbena, but then in reading about him, people were talking about this band that he was in from Birmingham, and I was kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like an earlier thing. But
that's crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I picked up on his music, and it wasn't until I did research that I found out that he was from Birmingham.
Hold
I was
on,
like,
wasn't
I had no
Duquette
idea.
in Verbena? Duquette Johnson,
Duquette Johnson may have been in Verbena.
another solo artist
Yeah.
who is
Oh.
still in Birmingham. I think Duquette was in Verbena as well.
I think you're right. I think
Oh,
you're
right
right about
on.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like A.A. Bondi went on to make records with like producer who produced all the Elliott Smith stuff, and the
Oh,
records
man.
they sound great.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the record, like like this is maybe getting into the weeds, but like he would like the way his vocal is recorded on the record, they would record in this like big room, and he'd actually sing through a PA, and they would like mic the room.
No
So
way.
that's the vocal sound on the album.
Oh, crazy.
And it's like after reading that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense because the vocals sound crazy on these
Mhm.
albums. Like it's like I've never heard of anyone recording vocals that way. Such a cool,
Me neither.
yeah.
Yeah, Duquette was he
Told
was
you.
one of the founding members of
See, I didn't have to look that up, Chris.
Good, cool, yeah.
I just knew.
You're sharp, man. You still got it.
I still got it.
We live in Birmingham. We're surrounded by it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last thing about Verbena, though, was Dave Grohl got involved with Verbena.
Really?
Oh,
Dave
really?
Grohl produced like a record of theirs.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
cool.
weird,
Yeah.
dude. That's kind of a big. That's a
Before
big
they
one.
broke up. Before they broke up. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
For real.
crazy. Yeah, crazy. I'm gonna write this down. Look this guy up. Duquette.
yeah, he did
Duquette
a solo
Johnson.
stuff. His
Yeah.
solo album came out. Etowah came out in
Etowah.
2006,
Mhm.
Hmm.
which is great. I think it talks about his time in prison.
Whoa.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
What's going on in Birmingham nowadays?
Well, when you were just talking about the hardcore scene, that is very much alive and well
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
independent scene, period, which we're a part of. I mean, we still play in and interact with. All the breweries around here have helped foster that too, because they have free shows all the time that all these bands can play at.
Yeah.
But there really is, like, maybe it's just been in the last 5 years that I've noticed it, but there's just been such a vibrancy of bands starting. I'm talking like the same time that we started, like when we started as teenagers, we're seeing teenagers start bands and playing at venues. And we're just seeing a whole lot of support for each other, like a community. That's still been very, very vibrant. Right, even
That's
right now.
super cool.
Yeah.
That's super awesome. Yeah. I love that. That's sort of similar to here in Richmond. There's like an
Man.
art school, and there's a lot of arty kids here. And
Yeah.
if you just start going to shows, you just like see great bands and people you've never heard of before. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like a real kind of like insular type of thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I found out you were in Richmond, I'm like, gosh, man, you're literally living in the town of all my favorite bands. I mean, you're living in Avail's town, you're living in Ann Beretta's town, and all these bands we grew up idolizing and loved every single time they came to Birmingham. I'm like, you're in the heart of that. And I remember asking Rob from Ann Beretta one time, what is the scene like there, and how did you guys come up in it? And he talked about the art school. He actually said there was this art school, and there just seemed to be like a hub of like all these bands like supporting one another and coming out of that scene.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's so many like visual artists here as well. You know, people that do murals or like design or photography or video or whatever. There's like a lot of commercial video and stuff here, and a big ad agency. And so all the kids who work in these places, they make stuff on the weekends in these places, you know, like with all this crazy gear. Like there's this kid, Wes Parker. He's a really awesome singer, songwriter. But he has these videos, and they're like all the people who work on the videos, he'll have like a staff of like 20 people making these videos. And it's like people from the art school, and like the videos are like insanely good. And I'm like, how does nobody even like, no one's really seen these videos? They're on YouTube, but like just like great music, great recording, just like insane video production. I don't know, it just like kind of caught me off guard. And it's like my friend Alan who played on my record. It's like Wes Parker is his brother. I was like, you didn't
Oh.
even tell me you had a brother. Like you failed to mention you have a brother who's like brilliant. And like I went to this Cuban restaurant the other day, and Wes just like walks by with like a bus tub. He's just like bussing tables,
That's awesome.
and I'm like, oh shit, yeah. It's
Love that.
kind of like a small, kind of supportive, but like cool scene here.
I like that.
I'm kind of on the outside of it because I'm old. I don't have a history. I've
Mhm.
only been here a couple of years.
Right,
but,
right.
But the longer I'm here, I'm kind of getting more connected to it and stuff. But
Yeah,
Mm.
you can at least sense that. Yeah.
For sure.
yeah,
We
Yeah.
definitely see it happening here. I mean, for sure. Here in Birmingham, just to answer your previous question, I mean, it is very vibrant here.
Yeah.
And we're seeing new bands all the time. We're seeing people start, communities
Yeah.
revolving around this type of music all the time.
And to see some
Yeah.
of the people who are our age coming up,
Yeah.
coming back
Yes.
into it to really get involved and like share the history, but also
Mhm.
just to like bring their kids to the shows now.
Yeah.
And, it's really cool because I think that there was a little bit of a fear as to like where music was kind of heading,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're kind of living in that golden age that I would consider what we grew up in.
Yeah.
But
We call it the 238 age.
that's true. Yeah. Then
Just joking.
but to see the kids kind of getting back,
Yeah.
and learning and understanding kind of where we've come from,
100%.
Yeah.
as a culture. So
Yeah.
Do you ever think that like when you're coming up in a scene like that when you're young and you like for me like going and seeing Zayo for the first time and being
Oh,
like
man.
and like having my mind like melted
yeah,
and
Mhm.
being like these guys are like literally they might actually have come from hell, to like play on this stage. It's like
Mhm.
it was really like blew my mind.
Yeah.
yeah. That was actually one of the first hardcore shows I ever went to.
Is it
was
really?
Live and Sacrifice, Zayo, Not Waving But Drowning, and Ludacris is what that
Right.
was.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
Zayo was definitely my first one, too. Zayo, Strong Arm, and Stavesaker.
Well, and Jake talked
Yeah,
about this.
nice.
That's right.
So
He did.
Jake talked about this where he said Jeremy was talking about how Jake used to
Mhm.
film everything. And so
yeah.
And so Jake said he's got this video.
He's got all
I
of
guess, of when Zayo came into town and played somewhere. So
Yeah, he had like Jake always had like just a trove of stuff and like would like slowly release it over the years of just like everything.
yeah,
Yeah, he did a great job of doing that. But my question was like when you're coming up and you're young and,
Yeah.
and you're having those experiences, don't you feel like it's the biggest movement of the world
Yes.
that's ever happened because you're kind of in it and it's like and like when I'm not judging other kids' scenes, but like I feel like what they're doing isn't as significant in some way because I'm not experiencing it. But I hope that kids are having that same thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Obviously, like a movement or like a thing that feels new and like important.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And what I would say is, yes, it felt like the biggest thing in the world. And a lot of that, if I'm just speaking locally in Birmingham, a lot of that had to do with we had a hub, and the hub of that was Slacker 66.
Yeah.
It was Chad, it was everything going because it all just sort of we always had a place to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And here in
Yeah.
Birmingham, now we have a lot of places to go, and the kids have a lot of places to go.
Yeah.
And maybe LCY would be considered one of those places, but there was like it seemed like the community sprawled out from the hub that we had there.
Yeah,
You know?
that makes sense. I can see how that's kind of a differentiation from like how things might be now with
100%.
there's a lot of choice and a lot of more things happening. Yeah, that's super interesting.
And
Yeah.
real quick, and our bass player in our band, he said it this way one time. He's like, at Slacker, you just went there to hang out. Like a lot of the times, you knew a show was going on, and you just showed up in the parking lot just to hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
scene was kind of like in and around it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's super cool.
Yeah. I think what's
Right.
interesting about the scene now is, we had it. I mean, I would say there was a lot of things definitely going on in the early 2000s, late 90s. But now there's a lot of movements in regards to the underground scene that really are necessary and are very important in regards to social justice, environmental justice, those kind of things. And so there's almost like a lot more purpose in a lot of ways for the underground scene. And so I can't imagine trying to grow up in this day and age with all of these things that are going on and the amount of information that we have. And so I do applaud them for finding some type of avenue for them to release, and to kind of vocalize how they feel about these kind of things.
Right.
Oh yeah. 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 Like the need for it is like as much as it ever was or more
Yeah.
or something. Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. It's like, I think if I were a young person now, I would want to be involved in music, still, of course. And like just with like people, not really people, we're just people living their lives through the internet, kind of disconnected from one another. But like music kind of like physically brings people together into spaces, which is kind of awesome and kind of like needed. I know that like, I'm assuming maybe you guys grew up in church and stuff, maybe. That's kind of like less of a thing now, in America, at least with people that I know. It's like that facilitated a kind of like communal thing that I think we're kind of missing in a way,
Right.
and music can kind of do that. I mean, I've always thought shows were kind of spiritual in a way or something, or like, when we're gathered together and we're seeing a band that everybody in the room likes, it's a shared kind of experience that we're all kind of feeling similar things, or maybe we have similar values because we like the same music or something.
Right.
There's something kind of church-like about that in a great way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to go back to, your music particularly, like Missing You Dearly was a very important album for me. My grandmother had just passed away. And so it was like, this was the first like close person that I had lost. And that album was actually really good for me to just listen through and kind of like cope with how I was feeling.
yeah.
And so again, music can just do that,
Transcends.
Absolutely. It's like a friend or something, or it's like you're not alone with your pain if you're listening to something that you're kind of relating to in a way or something. It's sort of like a connection to something or someone.
Yeah, something bigger and larger than yourself.
Exactly.
Something is there that you can see and hear,
Right.
Absolutely.
But
Well, Chris, we are so thankful that you talked to us today. And I'm sorry for the incessant messages back and forth, but they call it persistence. And
Well, I appreciate you guys staying on me and making it happen. So
we appreciate your time for sure. And we can't wait for the new record, August 5th coming out. And then you're going to Europe for a few months as well.
Yep. And all of October and the first part of November. So going to a few new places, going to Norway for the first time.
awesome.
Oh, the first time. Cool.
Yeah. And then playing in Sweden and Germany and Switzerland and Italy for the first time, Spain, France, and then I'm going to the UK for 4 shows. So
Awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then once you get to Nashville,
You're coming here.
you're coming here.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. We will make that happen. We want to get you in the coffee shop or somewhere in here and let you play.
Yeah,
because
that'd be great.
We'd love it, man.
Thank you guys for having me on, and it was really fun to recount some of the old stuff, and it was fun to talk to you guys.
Well, I mean,
sure.
again, we consider, when we think about you, again, we kind of consider it part of the community.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
like we
Yeah.
came from this community. And so it's really, really great to recount those stories and just hear your perspective on it. And we cannot wait for more music from you.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. Thank you guys so much. It was great to chat with you.
Absolutely, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. All right.
buddy.
Thanks, guys.
We'd like to take the time to thank Workplay here in Birmingham, Alabama, for allowing us to record and edit our episodes in their dedicated podcast studio. If you or someone else you know is interested in starting a podcast without the hassle of purchasing equipment, please reach out to Workplay at workplay.com.